Now, the truth is, I want to say it's finally here. The summer has arrived and it's time to go out and enjoy yourselves. But of course, if you are living in the UK and you've been experiencing the weather that we've been having recently, it's kind of hard to believe that summer's actually here. Of course, weather has overall improved in terms of temperatures increased, but we're still getting lots of rain and shit, which of course can hinder our ability to make use of the weather. Now, despite that being the case, I would highly recommend that for those of you who are thinking about getting back in on the health thing and sorting out your body, reducing the belly fat, and obviously losing any excess weight and so on, I would still recommend where you can that you make the most of this time of year. Not just because, oh, it's summer, but the fact that we have longer days, the fact that we tend to show up more energetic and with a bit more motivation, a bit more desire to do shit. We feel sort of less in that hibernation mode and so on. Because that's the case, and we have these natural rhythms that tend to make us want to do more, where possible, we want to capitalize on that. Particularly if you're a busy entrepreneur or business owner, you know what it's like, particularly during the winter months when things might be a bit slower than you'd like and so on. Or if just work feels like you've got tons of shit going on and lots of things and obligations and things on your to-do list that you need to get done, the last thing that we then want to do is add time to the beginning or the end of our day to work out, train, and so on, so that we can lose the belly fat, etc. But often this time of year, we feel far more motivated to do that. Now, of course, if you've seen my previous videos regarding motivation and so on, you'll know that I don't recommend you rely on motivation because it is a temporary thing. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. And of course, with that, we stop, we start, we stop, we start, and so on. So therefore get limited, if any, results. But at the same time, motivation can, of course, be good for at least getting us started. It's not necessarily going to get us across the finish line, but it's adequate to get us started. Now, if we can do that whilst the weather is good or better, and in theory, going to improve over the next few weeks, etc., that can help us to build the momentum that we need to help us stay on track. Now, of course, if we're going to do this, there are lots of ways you can do it. Now we've got lighter mornings, lighter evenings. You could, if you wanted, add time to the beginning or end of your day. Another way that I recommend that people do it is just add your workout in to your lunch hour. Now, some people are like, well, it's my lunch hour. I'm supposed to be having a break. I want to rest. Fine. If that's the case, absolutely. But then, of course, we're going to have to put it either at the top or the tail of our day so that we can still get it in. But for many of us, what we find is we struggle to take a real lunch hour anyway. We don't really separate from the work. Quite often we stay in our work environment or we eat at our desk and so on and never really separate from the work. So even though it might feel like, oh, well, doing a workout is now continuing to do more stuff, it is a good way to separate us from the work and allow us to kind of clear our mind, give us back some headspace around the work that we're going to do. And therefore, often when we go back to work in the afternoon, one, we're likely to avoid the afternoon slump because we've had this big shot of positive hormones and so on from the workout. Now, along with that, of course, we've stimulated our body, stimulated the metabolism, which helps to kind of ramp things up and keep us feeling more energetic. And being more energetic, of course, helps us to avoid craving the junk in the afternoon, because often we only really crave that junk because our energy is low and we're feeling tired or sleepy. So we want these stimulants in terms of sugar, sweets, treats, or caffeine and so on to stimulate us and to wake us up so that we can continue to be productive. Well, what you'll likely find is that by doing a workout during your lunch hour, now this workout could be as little as 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. And if you want a free 15-minute workout or 30-minute workout, just drop me a comment below and I'll get that sent over to you, no problem. But my point is, if you do that, having a workout is going to be much more effective, of course, for getting you to your results, but it's also going to help you curb the cravings and avoid that afternoon dip that tends to come for most of us as busy entrepreneurs or business owners, because we have so much going on in the first part of our day, so much going on in the second part. And also many of us tend to sacrifice our sleep in favor of the amount of work that we've got to do or family obligations and things like that. So getting back some time for ourselves, often, as I mentioned, in our lunch hour, is a great way to kind of get us at least onto the treadmill, onto the path of obviously leading us towards the weight loss that we want and the increases in energy and confidence and so on, and just boosting our self-esteem and our ability and certainty in ourselves to know that actually I can do this shit. because a lot of the time we avoid doing what we know we need to do because there's this part of us that says, I don't think I'll be able to stick to it. Oh, what if I do? And I put in all the effort and then I still don't get results and so on. But let's face it, we've got to start somewhere. We've got to start doing something, because if we sit back and assume or believe that we might not get the result, well, then we're just going to continue to not get the result. At least once we start engaging and taking action, whether that's through a workout or improving our food and so on, doesn't matter which of those that we do or whether we do both, at least once we start engaging, we get the feedback we need to know if we're doing enough. Because if we start doing the workouts, we start doing the food, and then we find, oh, I'm getting results, well, then we know it's working. But if we're not getting the results, then we know, okay, well, maybe I need to dial things up a little bit. Or in other areas of my life where I might be doing things that aren't really serving me, maybe I need to dial those back, which always comes back to the principles of, well, what do I need to start? What do I need to stop? And what do I need to sustain in order to move towards my goal? Now, of course, for each of us, it's going to be different, which is why it's ideal if you can sit down with yourself at some point and kind of go through that. What are the key things I need to stop in order to help me move towards my goals? What are the key things I need to start in order to get me towards my goals? And what are the key things I need to sustain? Because many of us are actually doing things that are going to work. It's just perhaps those things that we need to stop or start are getting in the way of the things that we need to sustain, and therefore not allowing us to get to results. So that's what I have for you guys today. Now, as I mentioned, if you want a free workout, one of my free 12 at 12 workouts, which is literally a 12-minute workout that you can do during your lunch hour to help you start burning the belly fat and losing the excess weight, just drop me a comment below. Let me know you'd like one, and I'll get that sent over to you as quickly as I can. And of course, if not, and you have any questions specific to yourself and your own struggles that you want me to help you with and give you some insight or some guidance around, feel free to drop those comments below as well, and I will get my answers to you as soon as I can. As always, people, thanks for watching, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.